Alright people, sorry about that. Right, okay. So, just to recap what we've done. We plugged it in. Guy that told me, who sold it to me, told me the light was flashing, which I showed to you. Right, a lot of the fixes on this particular one, these holes on the plug that goes into the back of the Neo Geo itself, they become elongated. They're supposed to be round and fit nicely on the pegs in the socket at the back. However, because people wiggle them in, because they can be quite tight, but if you push it with enough force it's fine, just don't over force it, because they wiggle it side to side. It makes these holes, are supposed to be round, oval, and they don't make enough contact. So what we need to do is we need to gently persuade them to go back to the original shape. This is kind of like a plastic rubber, so we can do it, tweak it with these pliers. These ones are a pain. That's better. You can gently tweak them in without damaging it. Right, that's that. And let's do this one. Don't want to overdo it. Right, it's slightly more oval. From oval, sorry, to circular, how they should be. Right, let's plug that back in, give this a whirl. It's definitely a lot tighter than it was. Right, let's try it. Seems to be flashing quicker, so it has had some effect on it. Right, what I'm going to do now, so I've tried that, the next method would be check the capacitors. So pause it, I'll open it and I'll show you how that's done. Oh, people, I'm back. Right, okay. Well, we tried tweaking in the ends. They're a little bit more round, but we're still getting a flashing light, although it seems to be faster, if that makes any sense. Okay, well, what I've got to do now is I'm going to check the power supply and make sure it's outputting the two different voltages that it needs to get this system working. As you can see, it's a funny 3-pin plug, and it's input of AC, so it's a switching power supply, either 110 to 240, 28 watts, which is alright, so you can use it here or wherever. In the UK or abroad it's fine, because this will do all the power switching for you. Great. And the output is DC. So what we need to check, and I've got my fantastic Fluke multimeter here, put it on DC voltage. I need to check where it's outputting 5 and 10 volts, and obviously checking the ground. So I'm going to check the top one here, this one here, the top one. According to the diagram here, it's 5 volts, so I'm going to have to be very careful with this. I'm not sure if you can be able to read that. Let's put that there. That's reading just over 5 volts, which is well within spec, so that's fine. It's pushing out what I need. Okay, well, at the bottom left, that should be 10 volts, and in the opposite corner to this will be the ground. So let's check that out, and please be very careful not to cross the two, you don't want to blow something up. And that's 9.57. It's supposed to be 10 volts, but it's very close to it, so that's well within spec. Right, so that tells me that the power supply is not at fault from just the basic test we've done. So let's put this up there out of the way, and what I need to do now is take the console apart. Right, so I've turned it over. There's 4 screws I can see. That's a posi drive screwdriver. So let's just take the screws out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Door pops open, just like I said. Be careful, very careful with that. Right, let's just pop the lid off. There is a ribbon cable to the left of this, so do this very carefully. I won't drop it. I can smell something's been cooking. I smell that. Right. Gently take the ribbon cable out, and I can pop this out of the way, so this is not to get damaged. Got that bubble wrap. Right, let's have a look. I'm just going to inspection of the board itself so you can see anything that sticks out of place to say, hey, I'm broken, please. Alright, let's have a look at the console itself. We are actually inside now, which is all good. As I lifted off the top side of it, I did notice there was a burning smell. See, the controller board, can't see anything untoward on that, but there is another board underneath. But let's have a look first of all. There is a some sort of shielding, RF shielding, by the looks of it. Let's have a look. Can't see it. I mean, there's no guarantees. Just from a visual inspection you can see, hey, there's something wrong with that. It's not always the case. You can have a look just to see if there's anything with these capacitors that are damaged. Well, it's not, which is fine. I just need to get a probe out at some point and just make sure these are shorting out. They generally would get hot, you would notice it. Right, let's just check everything. Okay, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this board out and check the main board underneath. Right, little clip there. Try and keep the screws separate. They do look all the same, however I do prefer to put the screws that are there previously in the same place. So. To turn it around. Just turn it around so you guys can see what's going on. Let's take these mounting screws out. These ones are a little bit tighter than the rest. Just take your time, there's no rush. The minimum possible damage as possible. Right, this will just lift out. Heat shield just flips out of the way. It's very flimsy, so that's not a problem. Let's have a look at the back of the board itself. A little bit of flux. Doesn't look like anyone's modified it. I can't, just from a visual inspection, doesn't look like there's any damaged traces, pads pulled off or anything like that, or anything that shouldn't be where it is. Okay, let's take off some more of these. Just be very careful when taking these from the board, you don't want to rip them off. Just have to be very careful. It's always good to take pictures where they come from, so when you go to put it back together, it doesn't damage it. Right, so I'll just try and hook this one cable out. It just pulls off the board. It goes out of the way. Right, so I've got the controller board. It's a ribbon cable. It's a case of just pulling it out gently. Way, and there's several screws on this that need to come out as well. Although the burning smell appears to have gone. Well, the chances are it's going to be the capacitors on that main board there. And the video encoder and where the power meets the console itself. So it's always best to have a look at the console, see if there's any sort of liquid damage elsewhere, dirt, dust, debris. There's no point fixing part of it and then 2 months down the line something else breaks, so it's always best to inspect. Okay, let's give that a quick inspection. All looks fine, appears to be okay, if I can speak. Right, let's just move the control board out of the way. Right, we do have some more screws. 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So, what I might do when I go to edit this video is speed this bit up. Good. So I have magnetic screwdrivers. There's always one that doesn't want to come out straight away. So it will. Gentle persuasion always helps. A lot of people have asked me, why are you using a screwdriver? I like to use a hand power tool, and it's like, yeah, only problem with them, a little bit clumsy, miss what you're doing, and then you go right through the board. I'm not saying it's happened to me, it's been very close. And with this older stuff, don't trust it, so it's fine. It slips out. Right, let's just get that extra screw out. And an extra 2 screws. Yay! Right. Let's move this out of the way. Stay. Right, okay. Got a lithium rechargeable battery on there. What model number? 2430. Okay, it's unusual. Don't normally come across that. Let's have a look at the board. Okay, got a couple of crystals, 24 Hz and 44 Hz. guessing for that different video. Switch in. Got the rest of the processors, RAM. Everything appears, I will say appears fine. And there's a few legs round here that look a little bit dry. They're not shiny silver like when they were first made. A little bit dull, but I don't necessarily think that's the problem. Right, let's have a look at the back of the board. Not fine traces on here. Can't see anything devastating to say, oh my god, it's going to kill the board. Might look at changing the battery at some point though. It won't be in this video, it'll be another one. Just add that to list, shall I? No, it all appears to be fine. There's a little bit of flux on the board, but let's put that back in carefully. There's a couple little pegs it will mount into, so you know it's gone down to where it should be. Right, okay. These capacitors look fine, but they don't always go funny from the top. They don't always bulge. You know, when the technology, when was this released? 94? Yeah, I think it was 94. And yeah, I'm over 15 years old, so it's always good to sort of replace them. People say, oh, you shouldn't blanket replace them. I was like, well, why not? Something I would do for an extra few pennies on my case. I would do it for peace of mind, so you know we've got another 10-15 years of use as long as the item itself is looked after. Yeah, everything appears to be good. Right, let's move this to one side. It's going to go on the bubble wrap for now. Stay. Let's have a look. Power board. No, that hasn't blown. Right, okay. Right, let's test a few of the board's components. SR 340. Okay, well that appears to be open. Let's test that again. 83. Let's test it the other way around. That item that there. It's not allowing the power to go through, so I would say that right there needs to be replaced. So 83.5. And what's this one? That's open. That should be open. So, component right there. I'm going to see if I can grab one and get on with it.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, check this out.